stop. This miracle is your final warning. Do not scroll past this. Do not click away. Do not tell yourself you will come back later, because you will not. Something brought you here right now, to this exact moment, to this exact video. And if you ignore it, you will spend the rest of your year wondering why you feel so stuck. Why nothing seems to move. Why doors keep closing. You were supposed to find this today, not yesterday, not tomorrow. Today. And the fact that you are still reading these words tells me you already feel it. That pull in your chest, that quiet voice whispering, maybe this one is different. It is. This one is for you. Only you. I do not know your name. I do not know what city you woke up in this morning or what time it is where you are sitting right now. But I know things about you that will make you uncomfortable. I know you have been pretending to be fine when you are falling apart inside. I know you smile in public and cry when no one is watching. I know you have been carrying something so heavy for so long that you have forgotten what it feels like to breathe without weight on your chest. And I know that you almost did not click on this video. You almost kept scrolling. You almost let this moment pass, like all the others. But something made you stop. Something made you stay. And that something is the very reason this message exists. Most chosen ones will never hear this. Not because it is hidden, but because they scroll past it too soon. They let distraction win. They let doubt convince them that nothing online could ever speak directly to their soul. They keep searching for answers in places that were never meant to hold them. But you did not scroll. You are still here. And that single decision just changed the entire direction of what is coming for you. You do not understand that yet, but you will. This video is not entertainment. It is not background noise. It is not something to play while you do something else. If you treat it that way, you will miss everything. And I am not saying that to scare you. I am saying it because I have seen what happens when a chosen one finally receives the message that was always meant for them. Everything shifts. Everything clicks. Years of confusion start making sense in a single hour. But only if you stay. Only if you give this the attention it is asking for. So close the other tabs. Put your phone on Do Not Disturb. Tell whoever is around you that you need this time alone. Because the next 60 minutes are not just a video. They are a turning point. And turning points do not wait. But before I tell you what is coming, stay with me, because what I am about to reveal will completely change how you see everything you have been going through. You have been through things you have never told anyone. Moments that broke you in ways that do not show on the outside. Betrayals that rewired how you trust. Losses that still ache when the room gets too quiet. And through all of it, you kept going. Not because you had some big reason to, but because something inside you refused to quit, even when quitting made more sense. That something has a name. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly what it is. You will know why you were built to survive things that would have destroyed others. You will know why you have always felt like you did not belong. You will know why people have underestimated you your entire life. And most importantly, you will know what you are supposed to do next. I am not going to ask you to believe me yet. Belief will come on its own. What I am asking is that you stay, that you listen, that you let this message do what it was designed to do. Because this is your final warning, not a threat, a gift wrapped in urgency. The kind of gift that only comes once and never comes back if you waste it. You have wasted enough. Enough time. Enough tears. Enough energy on people who did not deserve it and situations that were never meant to hold you. That chapter is closing, but only if you let this video take you where it needs to go. If you are still here, I already know something powerful about you. You are tired of surface-level words. You are tired of motivation that fades by morning. You are tired of hearing the same empty promises from people who do not know your story. I am not here to motivate you. I am here to wake you up. There is a difference. Motivation pushes you forward. Awakening shows you that you were always standing in front of the door. You just could not see it. By the end of this, you will see it, and nothing will be the same. So here is what I need from you right now. If you feel it, if something inside you is saying this message is mine, if you cannot explain why you are still here, but you know you are not supposed to leave, type the words "I am here" in the comments below. Claim this moment. Let it be known that on this day, at this hour, you stopped running from what was chasing you and finally turned around to face it. Type "I am here" and do not move, because what comes next will explain everything. You are still here, and that tells me more about you than you realize. Most people would have clicked away by now. Most people cannot handle being seen this clearly. But you stayed. And you stayed because some part of you already knows that what I am about to say next is something you have needed to hear for a very long time. So do not move past this part, because this is where most chosen ones miss what was meant for them. Let me ask you something, and I want you to answer it honestly inside your own mind. When was the last time someone asked you how you were doing and actually waited for the real answer? Not the polite version, not the fine or the good, or the hanging in there. The real answer. The one that sits in your chest at 2 in the morning when the house is quiet and you cannot sleep. The one that makes your eyes sting when a certain song plays, or when you see something that reminds you of a version of yourself you thought you would become by now. When was the last time someone saw that version of you and stayed? I already know the answer. It has been a long time. Maybe longer than you want to admit. You have been carrying something heavy. Not the kind of heavy that people can see. Not the kind that makes others check on you or offer help. This weight is invisible. It hides behind your smile. It hides behind your productivity. It hides behind the way you show up for everyone else, even when you are falling apart. Inside, and because no one can see it, no one thinks to ask about it. So you carry it alone, day after day, week after week, year after year. And the worst part is not the weight itself. The worst part is pretending it does not exist, so that you do not make anyone uncomfortable, so that you do not become a burden, so that you do not prove right all those people who already think you are too much, or too sensitive, or too complicated. Here's a truth almost no one tells you. The ones who carry the most are usually the ones who receive the least. You have been the strong friend, the reliable one, the person everyone calls when they need something but no one checks on when you go quiet. And you accepted that role because you thought it meant you mattered. But somewhere along the way, being needed started to feel like a trap, because you realized that most of them do not love you. They love what you do for them. They love how you make them feel. They love that you never ask for anything in return. And the moment you stopped performing, the moment you pulled back even slightly, they disappeared. That silence taught you something painful. It taught you that your worth in their eyes was conditional. And so you learned to hide your struggles. You learned to carry your weight where no one could see it. But I see it. I see the exhaustion you hide behind your eyes. I see the disappointment you swallow every time someone proves they were never really there for you. I see the hope you keep buried because you have been let down too many times to let it surface again. And I need you to hear me when I say this. Your silence was never weakness. It was protection. You were not hiding because you were broken. You were healing in the only way you knew how. Alone. In the quiet. Where no one could interrupt the process or make it about themselves. If this is speaking to something deep inside you right now, if you have been suffering in silence while pretending everything is okay, I need you to type 1111 in the comments. Let that number be your signal, your way of saying, yes, this is me. Yes, I have been carrying this. Yes, I am still here, and I am ready for this to change. And what I am about to share next, almost no one talks about this, but it will change everything about how you see what made you so different from everyone around you. I told you I was going to explain why you feel so different from everyone around you. And this is the part where that explanation begins. But I need you to pay close attention here, because what I am about to say is something you have felt your entire life, but never had the words for. And once you hear it spoken out loud, you will never see yourself the same way again. You have always known something was different about you. Not better, not worse, just different. And it started early, maybe as far back as childhood. You would sit in rooms full of people and feel completely alone. You would tend to conversations, and wonder why no one was talking about the things that actually mattered. You would look at the goals and dreams everyone else seemed excited about, and feel nothing. Not because you were broken, but because those things were never meant for you. And instead of understanding that, you spent years trying to fix yourself, trying to shrink, trying to mold yourself into a version that made sense to people who were never equipped to understand you in the first place. Do not skip past what I am about to say. This part is not for everyone listening. It is only for those who have carried this specific weight. You learned how to wear masks. You learned how to adjust your personality depending on who was in the room. You became a chameleon because being yourself felt dangerous. Being yourself meant being misunderstood. Being yourself meant watching people slowly pull away because your depth made them uncomfortable. So you hid it. You dumbed yourself down. You laughed at jokes that were not funny. You agreed with opinions you did not believe. And every single time you did that, a small piece of you disappeared. Not because you were weak, but because you were trying to survive in a world that punishes people for being too aware, too sensitive, too much. Here is something almost no one realizes. The traits that made you feel like an outsider are the exact traits that mark you as someone set apart for a specific purpose. Your sensitivity is not a flaw. It is an antenna. It picks up on things others miss. Your overthinking is not a disorder. It is a processor built for complex problems that average minds cannot hold. Your inability to settle for shallow relationships and shallow work is not you being difficult. It is you honoring a standard that was placed inside you before you even knew it existed. You were not made wrong. You were made rare, and rare things are. Always misunderstood before they are valued. Here is the truth no one says out loud. You were never broken. You were never too much. You were never the problem. You were simply placed in rooms that were too small for what you carry. And instead of the rooms expanding to fit you, they tried to make you smaller. But you could not stay small. No matter how hard you tried, something in you kept pushing back, kept asking for more, kept believing that there had to be something beyond the life everyone else seemed content with. If you have spent years feeling like you do not belong anywhere, if you have always sensed there was a reason you could not just be normal, like everyone else, I need you to type the word chosen in the comments right now. Not because I told you to, but because you finally have permission to own what you have always known. You are not like them. You never were, and now it is time to find out why that matters more than you have ever understood. Because the people who hurt you, the ones who betrayed you, the ones who made you question everything about yourself, they were not accidents either. And what I am about to tell you about them will change everything. There is a name living in your mind right now. A face you did not expect to think of. Someone who hurt you in a way that still echoes when the room goes quiet. I told you I was going to talk about the people who betrayed you. And I meant it. Because what happened to you was not random. And the people who did it were not accidents. They were assignments. Not sent to destroy you. Sent to redirect you. And until you understand that, you will keep carrying pain that was never meant to stay. Let me speak to the wound directly. You trusted someone, and they used that trust against you. Maybe it was a friend who smiled in your face and spoke poison behind your back. Maybe it was a partner who made you feel chosen and then made you feel like nothing. Maybe it was family. The ones who were supposed to protect you, but became the very source of your trauma. Whoever it was, they left a mark. And that mark changed how you move through the world. It made you suspicious of kindness. It made you flinch when someone got too close. It made you build walls so tall that even the right people could not climb over them. And I need you to hear me when I say this. That reaction made sense. You were not being paranoid. You were being protective. You learned from experience that people are capable of deep cruelty, and you decided you would never be caught off guard again. Stay with me here. Do not skip past this section, because what comes next reframes everything you have believed about those moments. Here is something most people never consider. Betrayal is one of the only experiences that forces you to see clearly. Before they hurt you, you saw the world through soft eyes. You believed the best in people. You gave more than you received and called it love. But then they showed you who they really were. And something in you shifted. You started paying attention to patterns. You started noticing when words did not match actions. You started trusting your gut when something felt wrong, even if you could not explain it. That awareness did not exist before the betrayal. It was born from it, which means the very thing that broke you is the same thing that sharpened you. They did not ruin you. They trained you. They showed you what to stop tolerating. They revealed what you were too kind to see on your own. Here is a truth no one tells you about the people who hurt you. They could not go where you were going. That is why they had to leave. Not because you were not enough, but because your path required you to travel lighter. And they were weight, dead weight dressed up as love, dead weight disguised as loyalty. If they had stayed, you would have kept giving. You would have kept abandoning yourself to make them comfortable. Their exit was not rejection, it was protection. It cleared the road for what is coming, and what is coming could never have arrived while they were still standing in the way. If there is still a betrayal living in your chest right now, if there is someone whose face just flashed in your mind while I was speaking, type 777 in the comments. That number is not random. It represents completion. It represents the closing of a chapter that should have ended long ago. Type it and let that be the moment you stop letting their memory control your peace. And what I am about to share next explains something even deeper. Because it was not just the betrayal that shaped you. It was the silence that followed. The season where nothing made sense. And almost no one survives that season without understanding what I am about to tell you. I told you the betrayal was not the end of the story, but what came after might have been even harder to survive. Because after the people left, after the doors closed, after the chaos finally settled, something worse showed up. Silence, a season where nothing seemed to happen, no matter how hard you tried. And that silence nearly broke you in ways the betrayal never could. You know exactly what I am talking about. There was a stretch of time, maybe you are still in it, where everything just stopped. Opportunities disappeared. Prayers felt unanswered. Efforts led nowhere. You watched other people announce new jobs, new relationships, new blessings. You watched them celebrate, while you sat in the same place you had been for months, maybe years. And no matter what you did, nothing moved. You started to wonder if something was wrong with you. You started to believe that maybe you had been forgotten, that maybe the good things were for everyone else, and you had somehow been left off the list. This next part might be the most important thing you hear in this entire video. Do not let it pass without letting it land. The silence was never punishment. It was preparation. And here is why that matters. You were not ready for what is coming. I know that is hard to hear. You feel ready. You have felt ready for years. But there is a difference between wanting something and being able to hold it. The person you were before the silence could not have carried what is about to arrive. You would have crumbled under the weight of your own blessing. You would have trusted the wrong people with your success. You would have moved too fast and missed the details that mattered. So the silence came. Not to break you, but to build you. Slowly, quietly, in the places no one could see. Here is something almost no one understands about seasons of silence. They are where the deepest work happens. Think about it. A seed does not grow in the spotlight. It grows underground, in the dark, in the quiet, where no one is watching. And for a long time, there is no evidence that anything is happening at all. But beneath the surface, roots are forming. Strength is building. And one day, without warning, the ground breaks open and something emerges that shocks everyone who thought nothing was happening. That is what has been taking place in your life. You have been underground, not buried, planted. And the reason it has taken so long is because what is growing inside you has deep roots, the kind that cannot be shaken once they take hold. Here is the truth no one says out loud. You were never forgotten. You were never skipped over. You were being strengthened in secret, prepared in private, shaped in solitude. And the people who thought you were stuck could not see what was really happening because it was not for them to see. It was always between you and the process. And the process is almost complete. If you have been waiting so long that you almost gave up, if there were nights you questioned everything and mornings where you had to convince yourself to keep going, type amen in the comments right now. Let that word be your exhale. Let it be the signal that you made it through the hardest part. Because you did. The silence is lifting, and you are still here. But before the breakthrough arrives, there is something you need to understand. A warning wrapped inside a gift. And what I am about to tell you next is the reason this entire video found you today. This is the part of the video the entire message has been building toward. Everything I have said so far was preparation for what I am about to tell you now. And I need you to be fully present for this, because what comes next is not a suggestion. It is not gentle encouragement. It is a warning. The final one you will receive before the door you have been waiting for either opens or closes forever. You have been given signs before. You know this. There were moments when something inside you whispered that it was time to move. Time to change. Time to let go of what was holding you back. And you heard it. You felt it. But you hesitated. Maybe you told yourself the timing was not right. Maybe you convinced yourself you needed more proof. Maybe fear dressed itself up as logic, and you believed it. So you waited, and the moment passed, not because you were punished, but because windows do not stay open forever. Opportunity is not patient. It arrives, it lingers briefly, and then it moves on to someone who is ready to receive it. Do not scroll. Do not look away. This part is not for everyone. It is specifically for those who have already missed before and cannot afford to miss again. Here is what most people do not realize about warnings. They do not come with loud announcements. They do not arrive in obvious packaging. A warning might look like a video you almost scrolled past. It might sound like a sentence that made your chest tighten. It might feel like a quiet knowing that you tried to ignore but could not shake. And the reason most people miss their warnings is because they are expecting something more dramatic. They are waiting for the sky to change colors or for a voice to call their name. But that is not how it works. The most important messages are often the quietest. They require stillness to hear. They require immediate action to mean anything at all. Here is a truth that might unsettle you. This video did not find you by accident. You were guided here by a series of events you cannot fully trace. Every heartbreak, every disappointment, every moment of confusion, every night you spent wondering if your life would ever change. All of it led you to this screen, to this moment, to these exact words. And that means something. It means the signs you ignored before were not wasted. They were redirecting you, pushing you toward the one you could not miss. And this is it. Right here, right now. This is the final warning. Not because you are being threatened, but because you are being given one last invitation to step into what has been waiting for you all along. Here is the truth no one says out loud. Your next decision determines everything. Not next month, not next year. Now, The way you respond to this message will echo across the next chapter of your life. You can close this video and return to the same patterns that have kept you stuck. Or you can decide right now that you are done missing your moments. Done letting fear make your choices. Done waiting for permission to become who you already are. If you refuse to miss this moment, if something inside you is finally ready to stop hesitating and start moving, hit the like button right now. Not later. Not when the video ends. Now. Let that be your declaration that you heard the warning and you are choosing to act on it. Because what I am about to tell you next is what happens when a chosen one finally answers the call. And it will change everything you think you know about what is possible for your life. You answered the warning. You stayed when everything in your old pattern told you to leave. And because of that, I can now tell you what is about to happen. Not what might happen, not what could happen if the stars align. What is about to happen. Because the shift has already started. You felt it the moment you pressed play on this video. Something inside you recognized that this was different. And that recognition was not random. It was confirmation. The wheels are already turning, and what is coming for you will be so unexpected, so perfectly timed, that you will look back on this exact moment and realize this was when everything changed. Within the next few months, you will not recognize your own life. I need you to sit with that, not as a wish, not as a hope, as a fact that is already in motion. The circumstances that have felt stuck for so long are about to break open. Doors that refuse to budge will swing wide. People who counted you out will watch in silence as you step into a version of yourself they never thought you could become. And you will not have to force any of it. You will not have to beg or manipulate or exhaust yourself trying to make things happen. They will unfold, one after another, like dominoes that were set up long before you even knew the game had started. Do not let this part pass without receiving it fully. What I am describing is not fantasy. It is the pattern that always follows a chosen one who finally stops, resisting their own elevation. Here is something most people do not understand about sudden change. It is never actually sudden. What looks like overnight success to others is always the result of years of invisible preparation. The pain you carried, the silence you survived, the betrayals that broke you open. All of it was building something inside you that the outside world could not see. And now that building is complete. The foundation is set. The structure is solid. What comes next is simply the unveiling. The moment where everything hidden becomes visible. And when it happens, people will call it luck. They will call it coincidence. They will try to explain it away because your blessing will make them uncomfortable. But you will know the truth. You will know how long you waited. You will know how hard you fought just to keep going. And that knowing will make the victory even sweeter. Here is the truth no one says out loud. You have already survived the hardest part. The waiting, the doubting, the wondering if it would ever come. That was the test. And you passed, not because you were perfect, but because you did not quit. You are still here, still listening, still believing that something greater is possible for your life. And that belief, held through all the darkness, is exactly what qualified you for what is next. The change is not coming. It is here. You are standing at the edge of a chapter so different from what you have known that your current problems will feel like distant memories. Finances that felt impossible will shift. Relationships that felt dead will resurrect or be replaced by something better. Health, peace, clarity, purpose, all of it is moving toward you right now. If you can feel it, if something in your chest just confirmed what I said, type it. Is my time in the comments. Claim it. Speak it. Let this be the moment you stopped waiting and state. Arted receiving. But there are people watching your life right now who do not want this for you. And what I am about to say next is a message directly to them. You need to hear it too. This part is not for you. Not entirely. This part is for the people who dismissed you. The ones who looked right through you like you were invisible. The ones who smiled in your face but never believed you would become anything. I know they are not listening right now, but you are. And I need you to hear what I am about to say to them, because it will heal something inside you that their doubt wounded a long time ago. To the ones who underestimated this person listening right now, you made a mistake. Not a small one. A mistake you will remember for the rest of your life. Because the person you dismissed is about to rise so far beyond your expectations that you will not be able to explain it. You will watch from a distance as their name appears in places you never thought possible. You will see them walking in peace while you are still stuck in the same cycles of chaos. And the worst part for you will be knowing that you had a chance to be part of their story. But you chose to doubt. You chose to mock. You chose to walk away when they needed you most. That choice will cost you more than you understand right now. This next part might be difficult to receive, but it is necessary for your healing. Do not skip past it. I need you to understand something about the people who hurt you. Their doubt was never really about you. It was about them. They looked at your potential, and it made them uncomfortable. They saw something in you that they could not find in themselves, and instead of celebrating it, they tried to suppress it. They needed you to stay small because your growth exposed their stagnation. They needed you to fail because your success would force them to confront their own excuses. So AI planted seeds of doubt in your mind, hoping those seeds would take root. And for a while they did. You questioned yourself. You shrunk. You dimmed your light so they could feel comfortable. But that season is over now. Here is a truth that will set you free. You do not need to prove anything to them. You do not need to send them screenshots of your success. You do not need to post your victories, hoping they will see. You do not need to explain yourself or defend your choices, or show them how wrong they were. Your life will do all of that for you. Success is loud. Elevation is visible. And when you rise, they will notice. Not because you forced them to, but because your light will be impossible to ignore. You will not need to say a single word. Your existence will be the evidence. Your peace will be the proof. Your joy will be the verdict. If you have ever been underestimated, if someone made you feel like you would never amount to anything, type "watch me" in the comments right now. Do not tag anyone. Do not name anyone. Do not give them the satisfaction of knowing they still have space in your mind. Just type it. Quietly. Powerfully. Let it be a declaration between you and your future, because they will watch, and they will wonder how you did it, and you will not owe them an answer. But your enemies are not the point of your story. They are background characters. What I am about to reveal next is the real reason you went through everything you went through. And it has nothing to do with them. I told you this video would explain everything. And now we arrive at the part that most people spend their entire lives never understanding. The part about your pain. Not how to escape it, not how to numb it, but what it was actually building inside you while you thought it was breaking you apart. You have suffered in ways you still have not spoken about out loud. There are memories you have buried so deep that even you forget they are there until something triggers them without warning. Sleepless nights, mornings where getting out of bed felt like lifting 1,000 pounds. Moments when you wondered if the pain would ever stop or if this was just what your life would feel like forever. And through all of it, one question haunted you more than any other. Why? Why did this happen to me? Why did I have to go through this? Why could I not just have a normal life with normal problems like everyone else seemed to have? Do not let this part pass through you without landing. This is where your entire perspective shifts. Here is the answer you have been waiting for. Your pain was never pointless. It was a forge, and you were the blade being shaped inside of it. Every tear added resilience to your character. Every betrayal sharpened your discernment. Every moment of despair dug deeper wells of compassion inside you that most people will never possess. You did not suffer for nothing. You suffered because you were being prepared to carry something significant. And that something requires a strength that can only be built one way: through fire, through pressure, through the kind of breaking that forces you to rebuild yourself from the inside out. Here is something most people never realize about their own pain. It was never just for you. The things you survived were always meant to become a bridge for someone else. Somewhere out there, right now, there is a person going through the exact thing you went through. They are sitting in the same darkness, asking the same questions, feeling the same hopelessness. And they need someone who understands, not someone who read about it in a book, not someone who heard about it secondhand, someone who lived it, someone who can look them in the eyes and say, I know exactly how this feels. And you are going to make it true. That person is you. Your pain gave you a language that cannot be learned any other way. And that language will save lives. Here is the truth no one says out loud. The world does not need more people who have never struggled. It needs people who struggled and survived. It needs people who fell apart and put themselves back together. It needs you, exactly as you are, with all of your scars, with all of your stories, with all of the wisdom you paid for in tears. If you are finally ready to see your pain as preparation instead of punishment, type Amen in the comments. Let that word close the chapter of suffering for nothing, and let it open the chapter of suffering with purpose, because your pain was always leading somewhere, and now you know where. But what is that somewhere? What is the actual assignment your pain prepared you for? That is what I am about to reveal next. And when you hear it, everything about your life will finally make sense. Everything I have told you so far has been leading to this moment. The pain, the silence, the betrayal, the waiting. None of it was random. All of it was curriculum. Training for a mission you did not consciously choose, but that was placed inside you before you took your first breath. And now it is time for you to remember what that mission is. Because you did not come here just to survive. You came here to complete an assignment that only you can fulfill. You have felt it before. That pull towards something you could not name. That sense that there was more to your life than what you were living. You tried to ignore it. You told yourself it was wishful thinking. You buried it under responsibilities and distractions and the demands of just getting through each day. But it never left. It kept whispering. It kept tugging. It kept reminding you that the life you were living was not the life you were built for, and you were HT to feel that way, because it was not. Do not scroll. Do not let this moment pass. This is the part where your entire life comes into focus. Here is something that will change how you see yourself. You were placed on this earth at this exact time in history for a specific reason. Not a vague reason. Not a generic purpose that applies to everyone. A specific assignment that matches your exact design, your personality, your experiences, your gifts, your wounds. All of it was calibrated to prepare you for something that needs to be done in this generation. Something that will not get done if you do not do it. The world is not waiting for someone like you. It is waiting for you, the exact you that is listening right now, with all of your imperfections and questions and doubts. Here is something most people never understand about purpose. You do not find it. You remember it. It was always inside you, buried under fear, hidden beneath other people's expectations, silenced by voices that told you to be realistic. But it never disappeared. It was simply waiting for you to be ready. And you are ready now. Not because you have all the answers, not because you feel confident, but because you made it this far. You survived everything that was meant to take you out. And that survival is your qualification. Your assignment will not look like anyone else's. It might be building something. It might be healing something. It might be creating or teaching or leading or simply being a presence that shifts the energy of every room you enter. You do not need to know all the details yet. You just need to say yes. The path will reveal itself one step at a time, but only after you accept that you are here for more than just existing. If you are ready to stop drifting and start living with intention, if you are ready to accept the assignment your entire life has been preparing you for, type "I accept" in the comments. Let those words be your signature on a contract you made before you were born. Let them be your commitment to stop playing small, because the world has been waiting for you long enough. But you will not walk this assignment alone. And what I am about to tell you next is a promise about the people who are already on their way to find you. You have felt alone for so long that you started to believe that was your permanent state, like you were built for isolation, like connection was something other people got to experience, but not you. You have been in rooms full of people and felt invisible. You have been surrounded by family and felt like a stranger. You have had friendships that looked good on the surface but left you emptier than before. And somewhere along the way, you started protecting yourself by expecting nothing, hoping for nothing, telling yourself that if you did not let anyone in, they could not disappoint you. But that protection came with a cost. And that cost was loneliness so deep it became your shadow. Stay with me here because this next part is a promise, not a wish, a promise. The people you have been waiting for are real. They exist, and they are already being drawn toward you through a process you cannot see, but that has already started. These are not the people who needed you to perform. Not the ones who only showed up when you were useful. Not the ones who disappeared the moment you needed something in return. These are the people who will see you. The real you. The one you have been hiding. The one you thought was too much for anyone to handle. They will look at the parts of you that others rejected, and they will call those parts home. Here is a truth that might surprise you. The wrong people leaving was never a loss. It was a clearing. They had to go because they were taking up space meant for someone else. Every empty eat at your table was reserved. Every ended relationship was making room. And now that room is ready to be filled. Not by just anyone. By the ones who were always meant to be there. The ones who will match your energy instead of draining it. The ones who will fight for you instead of against you. The ones who will stay. Here is the truth no one says out loud. You were never too much. You were just around people who were not enough. People who could not rise to meet you. People who wanted the easy version of you instead of the real one. But the ones who are coming can handle all of you. They want all of you, and they will prove it not with words, but with consistency, with presence, with the kind of loyalty you had given up on ever receiving. If you are ready to stop settling for almost connections, if you are ready to meet the people who were always meant to be in your life, type 1111 in the comments. Let that number be your signal to the ones who are looking for you. A way of saying, I am here. I am ready. Come find me. And now we come to the final word. The last thing I need to say before I send you back into your life. And it might be the most important part of all. You made it. You stayed until the end. And that alone separates you from the thousands who clicked away before the message could reach them. They will keep searching. They will keep scrolling. They will keep wondering why nothing in their life seems to change. But not you. You stayed. You received. And now you carry something inside you that was not there when you pressed play. Think about where you were at the beginning of this video. You were tired. You were questioning everything. You were carrying weight that no one around you could see. You were wondering if the pain would ever end, or if you were destined to keep surviving instead of living. And then something happened. Word by word, you retted to remember. You remembered that your difference was never a flaw. You remembered that the betrayals were redirections. You remembered that the silence was preparation. You remembered that your pain was building something priceless inside you. And you remembered that you were placed here for a reason that only you can fulfill. Before you go, stay with this one last message carefully. This may be the most important thing spoken in this entire video. You are not the same person who started watching. Something shifted, not because of magic words, but because you were finally ready to hear what your soul has been whispering to you for years. Everything you just heard, you already knew it. Deep inside, you just needed a voice to remind you that it was always true. That voice found you today. And what it planted cannot be unplanted. Seeds do not ask for permission to grow. They simply grow. And the seeds dropped into your mind over the last hour will continue working long after this video ends. In quiet moments, in difficult decisions, in situations where you would have normally shrunk, you will feel something different rise up. That is the shift. That is the change. That is the new version of you making itself known. You came into this video looking for a sign. This was it. You came looking for proof that your life could change. This is it. You came looking for permission to finally believe in what you have always sensed about yourself. Consider it granted. Not by me, by you. By your willingness to stay. By your refusal to let another message pass you by. If this video gave you something real, if you feel different than you did an hour ago, hit the subscribe button. Not for me, for you. Because there are more messages coming. Messages that will find you exactly when you need them. Just like this one did. Now type 1212 in the comments to claim the miracles all. Edie on their way to you. And then go live the life you were always meant to live. Your time is now. And I will see you in the next one.